One of the most recent videos I made on YouTube showed some of my vintage box fans. Now, I'm not anything approaching a vintage box fan collector, nor am I a serious restorer or anything like that. But I do appreciate the quality offered by these fine old fans, and when I found them on the curb, I couldn't help but save them from an untimely end. And most of the time, all they needed after, say, 40 or 50 years of faithful service to their previous owners was a good cleaning and a good oiling of the fan motor. This first fan is a Fasco Model 200, serial number 207409. This is a 2-speed fan, and I found this fan, it ran fine, the motor turned freely and everything, but the front grille was messed up, and I still haven't figured out a good repair for it, so that's why the front grille's not on it. And it also, when it was turned on, would run incredibly roughly. Well, it turned out that the blades on the fan motor were not secured tightly to the shaft, and so the blades would rattle all over the place, and one time they eventually came off. But now this fine old fan just runs absolutely beautifully. I'm going to try to keep it from sucking up the blind here. I'll turn it on for you. That's the high speed. And that, of course, is the low speed. This fan gets quite a bit of use. I put it in the window. Of course, that's turning it off. I let it circulate air through the roach palace every now and again. This old Westinghouse fan is probably the oldest fan I own. I found it in an antique store. It doesn't really give a model number. All it says on the back is that the style number is 803008-A. This is a 3-speed fan. It's a table fan. And other than keeping it oiled and cleaning it every now and again, I haven't had to do anything to it. And it runs just perfectly. It oscillates if you turn the oscillator on. You couldn't ask for a whole lot more than that out of your fine old table fan. One of the most interesting things about this fan is the fact that the blades in it aren't actually metal. So I don't know if it's really as old as it looks or not, but it might be. They're kind of a hard plastic substance. I really didn't hold out a lot of hope for this fan when I found it. This is a McGraw Edison Eskimo 2-speed fan. The model number on it is given as 201370. It was made by the Bursted Manufacturing Division of the McGraw Edison Company. And when I found this fan, it was easily the saddest and sorriest looking box fan I'd ever seen sitting out on the curb. But after cleaning up the motor, and I haven't repainted the cabinet, and I don't know that I ever will, but after cleaning the motor up and oiling it in both bearings and cleaning the blades off, it runs beautifully and it has a lot of power. That's the high speed. Very smooth, very well balanced. Doesn't rattle off this smooth top desk at all. There's the low speed. And of course there is turning it off. Now, I guess it goes to show that it's a lot harder to kill these old box fans than it looks. But they're definitely worth saving. This cute little fan was made by the W.B. Marvin Company and sold under the Marvin brand name. It's a Model 110 window fan and can actually be set up on its edge with these little metal legs that stick out from the bottom of it. I got these from an old lady. I have 2 of them, and she'd run them until the motor simply seized up from lack of lubrication. It took a lot of work to get them going again because it seems like the motors are a little bit on the cheap side. And I've just recently had the rear cover off of this one to oil it again for its annual maintenance. But now, they run fine. It's just a single speed fan, and you can set it for intake or exhaust just by varying the way that you put it in the window. And this is a Dayton branded fan that was actually made by Lakewood, or at least has a Lakewood motor in it, and looks very similar to the early model all-metal Lakewoods, which is my understanding from looking around YouTube, were actually manufactured until fairly recently. This is a big, heavy fan. It even comes with a 3-pin electrical cord on it. So, anyway, it's not as balanced as it could be, and it's suffered a little bit over its lifetime because it went under in a basement flood that filled it with sewer muck and all kinds of stuff. It still ran after that, but I fixed it promptly, cleaned the motor completely out, cleaned the body of the fan up, put the front and back grills in the dishwasher, although they were already missing the pieces that you see missing. And this fan seems to have recovered pretty well, although it's not quite as in balance as it should be, because there are spaces on the back of the blades for little balancing weights, and some of them came flying out at warp speed and I never found them, nor have I found a suitable replacement. But this fan definitely does run. There it is on high speed. There it is on medium speed. And there it is slowing down to low speed. And of course it does make an interesting noise when you first turn it on from a dead stop, especially in the low speed. You can hear kind of harmonizing sound from the motor almost. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. Here we go. And then it comes up to speed. And this fine little fan is another McGraw Edison product manufactured by their Bursted division, sold under the Zero brand. This is a perfect little fan to put in a window. I found this fan tossed out on the curb like most of the others, and the only problem it had was a power cord that had completely rotted off of it. So I rewired it with a new cord, and at some point the speed control knob fell off, and I knew where it was once upon a time, but I haven't seen it for a while. If I ever do find it, I'll definitely put it back on there, or maybe I'll find one off a dead fan somewhere and replace it. But this fan, again, all it needed was just a little routine cleanup, and it ran beautifully. And there's its high speed. There's its medium speed. It's a little fiddly to operate it without the knob on it. Well, that's the medium speed. I lied to you. And there's the high speed. And then all the way down at the end is this little fan's low speed. And this is a great little fan to put in a window and use. And again, it just runs as smoothly as almost all the rest of them do. Nothing wrong with it at all.